If you are struggling to improve on Fortnite and keep messing up your edits like this, make sure to watch this video. I'm going to be going over the top 5 ways to improve quickly on keyboard and mouse. The first thing you're going to want to do is start getting into a warm-up routine. This can range anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes before you start playing. Warming up before you start playing a tournament or ranked is just going to ensure that you are on top of your game and you're not going to be doing things that you shouldn't be doing. It will also, over time, make your aim, builds, and overall mechanics better as you're practicing these things specifically every time you get on. I'm briefly going to go over my warm-up routine. If you want to copy it, you can, but I would suggest doing things that you are struggling with. Like if your AR aim is lacking, I would suggest practicing your AR aim. I start off my routine with 5 minutes of this edit warm-up. It moves your player around so you can try to edit things from different angles that you usually wouldn't in creative. It just makes it so that if in game you're in a weird spot, you have already made that edit and you're ready to do it. Then I go to the piece control training. I do this for 5 minutes as well. It helps with your piece control and fighting in game. The third thing I do is AR sprays. As you can see, my AR aim is terrible, so I need to practice that as much as possible. And so do you. AR aim is very important. Make sure to practice. The next thing I do is pump SMG 50-50s. That is a very good way to practice your fight for when you're in a box, which happens all the time in game. I find myself missing pump shots that would easily seal the fight all the time, and this is a great way to improve your aim. Another way to quickly improve is make sure that the binds you're using are comfortable for you. Don't just look up a pro's binds and copy them, because they're using settings that are comfortable for them, not settings that they copied from somebody else. If you're already a good player and you're doing decent in tournaments but you're struggling to get the win, scrims are something that you must practice. It is the best way to practice in-game fighting and in-game situational awareness. Most players watching this video are probably NA East, and the best NA East scrims are NA Opens and Mono Customs. If you don't know what scrims are, it's basically a custom match and tournament settings where you're not allowed to fight until Storm Surge appears, or usually around 5th or 6th Storm. This forces players to have to learn how to fight in-game, rotate effectively, get surge tags, and place themselves well in the circle, as well as performing under a high amount of pressure, as there's 30 to 40 players around in the 9th to 12th Storm. If you're not doing very good in tournaments and you're dying off spawn a lot, you need to play ranked. It sounds pretty obvious, but this is definitely one of the fastest ways to improve if you're not doing well. The best way to improve, hands down, is VOD reviewing. You might think that you know why you died last game, etc, but you didn't see it from the enemy's perspective, you didn't see it from your teammate's perspective, and you didn't see it from the guy 2 boxes over's perspective. This is something that you can do to make sure that you're not repeating mistakes and continuously dying because of the same mistake, which could cost you 15 games if you didn't VOD review, because you're going to see it in 1 game VOD reviewing than in 10 games of you trying to think of what is making you die. Also, when you're VOD reviewing, you can see things that other teams are doing that maybe you're not doing that's helping them get an upper hand above you. Just lots of things that VOD reviewing has that are very beneficial. If you're usually playing duos, or even if you're just playing solos, 2v2 Zone Wars or 4v4 Zone Wars, whatever you want to play, is a very good way to get better at fighting as a team and fighting as the storm is coming, which is very important. I wouldn't suggest just readying up publicly though. I would join the Fortnite Discord server or one of the scrim servers I was talking about earlier and join a looking for players channel and look for 2v2s. The players are going to be a lot better than you're going to find in fill games, thus making you better as you're going to be practicing against better players. I think we're already at 5, but we're just going to go ahead and make this an honorable mention or a bonus or whatever. Pressing the edit button is not the only thing that matters when you're trying to edit fast. If you have a higher ping, you have to take that into account and maybe slow down your edits or time them better, because if you try to edit like you're on 0 ping, they're not going to go through as they would if you were hitting the button slower. So it's also about timing. You need to learn timing, crosshair placement, and things like that, just to make sure you're getting everything out of your builds. That's all the tips I got for you. Make sure to go in game and try to implement all these things you just learned in this video and try to be a better player.